All right, Neil, apologies. We're going to have to leave you now there and head to Canberra, where the Prime Minister is addressing the country.
In the course of the day, the news has just got worse. There were 298 people on this aircraft. It is highly probable that MH17 was shot down by a pro-Russian separatist-controlled surface-to-air missile. So it was shot down over Russian-backed rebel territory by what appears to be a Russian-backed rebel missile. I can confirm that the nationalities of the victims were as follows: Netherlands 154, Malaysia 43, Indonesia 12, the United Kingdom 9, Germany 4, Belgium 4, the Philippines 3, Canada 1. There are still 41 whose nationality is unconfirmed. The advice that I have is that the final number of Australians on board is 28. We grieve for all, but we particularly grieve and pray for the Australians who have lost their lives. I can further inform you that a Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade consular officer has been dedicated to each of the family groups of the victims involved. 11 Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade officials are in the process of being deployed to the Ukraine. I would urge people who are concerned about the fate of their family members or loved ones to ring those DFAT numbers. Again, the number here in Australia is 1300 555 135. I understand that over 900 calls have so far been received by the Consular Emergency Centre. The Australian Federal Police is sending a liaison officer to Kiev to commence discussion on Australian assistance with the investigation process, including support for the initial Ukrainian investigation. We do welcome the Ukrainian investigation, which has been announced, but it is absolutely essential that there be a full, thorough and impartial international investigation which has full access to the site, to the debris, to the black box recorder and to any persons who may be able to assist with that investigation. Absolutely essential, and we are working for a binding UN Security Council resolution to this end. I have spoken already today to Dutch Prime Minister Rutte, to New Zealand Prime Minister Key. I'll shortly speak to Malaysian Prime Minister Najib. I'll be making a range of calls over the weekend. Foreign Minister Julie Bishop has spoken to her Dutch and New Zealand counterpart. She's been in contact with her Indonesian counterpart, and she also will be making a range of further calls. I can inform you that the Russian ambassador was called in Sydney by Foreign Minister Bishop and asked for a categoric assurance that Russia would fully cooperate with this investigation. I have to tell you that the initial response of the Russian ambassador was to blame Ukraine for this, and I have to say that is deeply, deeply unsatisfactory. We all know that there are problems in Ukraine. We also know who is very substantially to blame for those problems, and the idea that Russia can somehow say that none of this has anything to do with them because it happened in Ukrainian airspace, frankly does not stand up to any serious scrutiny. I want to say to the Australian people that as far as I am concerned, when you have a situation where Russian-backed rebels appear to have killed Australians using, it may well turn out to be, Russian-supplied heavy weaponry, Australia takes a very dim view indeed, and we want the fullest possible investigation. Well, I think it's very important that we find out the facts, and it's very important that we don't allow Russia to prevent an absolutely comprehensive investigation so that we can find out exactly what happened here. I mean, this is not an accident, it's a crime. I stress it's not an accident, it's a crime, and criminals should not be allowed to get away with what they've done. So there has to be a full, impartial, international investigation, and Russia should certainly not be allowed to stand in the way of that just because the aircraft has come down over territory controlled by Russian-backed rebels. Chris? That's a very fair question, Chris. It's a very, very fair question. I don't want to preempt what might happen in the weeks and months ahead. I just want to say that it is absolutely imperative, if Russia is to maintain any international standing at all, that there be complete Russian cooperation with this. No prevarication, no excuses, no blame shifting, no protecting of people who may be backed by Russia but who may have been involved in this terrible event. Michelle? Well, Australia would be reluctant to act unilaterally in a situation like this because this is a very important international gathering. Nevertheless, it is also very important that Australia act with the strength and self-respect that you would expect of a country of our standing.